If you were somewhere and OP was there, it was not long before you heard that unmistakable laugh of OP. Those will be the things I miss about him. If we all look around the room, we see the impact one man had while he was in the arena. He held his head high. He was a great man. We will always have some part of him with us. And I know, as we're gathered here, he is watching and somewhat embarrassed because he would not want this fuss made over him. I thank you so much for allowing me the honor telling you about Sergeant Terry Polston, Chubb, Officer Polston, my friend, co-worker, and hunting buddy. You fought the good fight, friend. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Now representing his family, his brother, Randy Polston. Randy?
So the last thing I need to do is fall over on his picture. He would not let me live that down, all right? Sorry, brother. I thought I was going to go there for a second. Oh, shucks. Wow, what a week. What a week. You know, Mary, we kind of blew this thing, scheduling it this afternoon, because every one of us missed the Bears game today, all right? At 1 o'clock, I turned it on. I saw him score. He was smiling up there, and the last Bear conversation I had with my brother, he called me after the Packers completely annihilated him, and I missed his call, and he left a message on my answering machine at home. The message said, "It's official, the Bears stink." He didn't have to say anything else. He didn't have to say anything else. It's been a pretty tough week. It's been overwhelming to see you come out with your cards, your letters, your emails. We've been overwhelmed as a family, getting on Facebook, reading your comments, getting on WNDU and WSBT websites and reading the comments from not only our community, but kids from all over. Kids that are now living in Wyoming, Florida, Colorado, that wanted to send a message to Terry. On behalf of Mary, his daughter Courtney, her husband Chris, and his son Justin, and all the Polston clan, we say thank you. Thank you for your love of this gentle giant. Thank you for your support. It truly has been overwhelming. You know, I went to the candlelight service the other night with Nathan, and we were standing there and we were overwhelmed by the turnout there as well. And immediately following the service, I had a lineup of kids and young parents that needed a Polston hug and needed to tell me an OP story. We stood there in the freezing rain, the drizzle, no one seemed to care. And it was story after story after story. I stood amazed. I knew Terry was doing lots and lots of things for our community and reaching out to the kids and to families. But the stories I heard that evening really blessed me and blessed us and touched our hearts. As Bob shared, he's up there having a good time with Dad right now. Mom, you and Dad did a darn good job raising us, I guess. We were ornery growing up, trust me, all right? We had our times as well. We made some of those choices that Terry was talking to you about listening to your mom and dad and behaving yourself. You did a good job, Mom. Amen. Amen. With the help of the Lord. And with that help of the Lord, Terry accepted Christ when he was young. And he truly, truly, truly had the goal in his life to be as Christ-like as possible. As Christians, we're called on this earth to do God's work. And the Lord has blessed both Terry and myself, and now my son Nathan, in teaching and being given the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of kids. And that's what this guy was all about, to make a difference in the lives of kids. He would stop at absolutely nothing if someone needed him. And yet what was neat, one of these past evenings we were sitting with Mary and Courtney and Chris and Justin, and somebody in the family, I don't remember who, looked at the kids and said, "Did you ever feel slighted a little bit? His dad's off and doing this for this child and this for this family." And Justin and Courtney in unison said, "No." And then Justin shared immediately following that is that Dad was there for us when we needed him. Dad was there for us when we needed him. I had a young man come to me Wednesday evening, and he shared with me that evening. He gave me a big hug, and he said, "You don't know me, Mr. Polston." But he said, "I didn't have a dad growing up." He said, "Your brother stepped in and was my father." And those are the types of things that this legacy of love that we've heard so much about, Terry, that's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. And Warsaw, if one man can do it, if one guy can put forth the time and the effort to make a difference in the lives of all of us, and myself included, think what we could do for our community and for our state and for our country if everyone took on the attitude of what this gentle giant took on. I've shared this story, and I want to share it again because I had an opportunity to spend a few minutes with Terry, my last conversation. Mary called me on Monday and told me to please come to the hospital. That things weren't looking too good. And so I got over there as quick as I could. And I walked into the ER room to find Mary and Justin by his bedside. And they pulled me aside and they told me what the doctors had told them. They both stepped out for a few minutes, and I was able to take my brother's hand and stand there beside him. He was all hooked up to all these machines, and he had this big oxygen mask on his face, and he was working as hard as he could to get the oxygen inside. And he looked up at me, and he knew that his time here on earth was coming close to an end. And he looked up at me, and the first thing he said was, "I'm worried about my wife. I'm worried about Justin and Courtney." He said, "I don't want to leave them behind." I put my big arms around him, and I said, "Brother, you know that I'm here, and the family's here, and the community's here." I said, "We're not going to leave them. They're going to have our support."